Ah, there we go. Now hold on here. There we go. Okami, I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, it was another one of those things where I was, I don't know. I've been thinking about playing this game for a long time, similar to Final Fantasy XII, and, I don't know. I think what had happened was I was sort of looking at my options here, seeing which version I wanted to actually stream, and then, I don't remember if it was like on a big time sale or if it was included in a Humble Bundle, but I got it from Humble Bundle regardless, and that was, I don't know, maybe like 1 or 2 months ago. So I'm like, sometime this year, I think I'm gonna actually end up streaming this game. And here we are. So, also really wants to kick in this intro. I guess this is a Capcom game. That was kind of the thing at the time. They always had these intros that they wanted to go through. Alright. So, another past revisit via a remastered HD edition, but we'll get into some of the early days with this game and myself as we play it. Ah yes, this has like banjo speech, so we're gonna need to actually read through this. Let me see if I can get my chat windows up first, and then we can, hold up, start. I need to see if I could like find a way to integrate, not Steam, but Twitch chat into Steam. That would be ideal. Okay. So, long ago, a tiny hamlet known as Kamiki lay nestled in a grove of proud and beautiful cherry blossoms. Each and every tree around the quiet burg was honored as a god. Also, there's no way to make it pop up faster, so we'll just have to go at the pace that it's going. However, the village was not without its dark secrets. To satiate the appetite of Orochi, a fearsome cave-dwelling beast, a young maiden was offered as a sacrifice at the annual festival. With a body like a mountain and 8 heads mounted on necks the size of tree trunks, its blood-red eyes alone were said to curse anyone who gazed into them. No one dared disobey the horrific beast. When the night of the sacrifice drew near, a mysterious white wolf appeared outside the village. This wolf, its coat as brilliant as snow, was dubbed Shiranui, yes. The wolf kept a watchful eye on anyone who ventured outside of the village and made a habit of patrolling the streets at night. People assumed the wolf to be a familiar of Orochi. One villager took it upon himself to face the fearsome Shiranui. The warrior Nagi attempted many times to challenge the wolf, but his attempts were thwarted by Shiranui's swift movements. Before long, the night of the accursed festival had arrived. A white-plumed arrow heralded the coming sacrifice. Piercing the sky, the arrow sunk its shaft squarely into the home of Nami, the village's most beautiful maiden. Nagi, harboring a secret love for Nami, was enraged by this sign. Determined to put an end to Orochi once and for all, Nagi traveled to the beast's cave in place of his beloved. The Moon Cave, a place as dark as evil itself, served as Orochi's home. As Nagi stood bravely before the entrance, a beast appeared, eyes glowing crimson upon 8 thrashing necks. Orochi stood tall before him, anxious for another sacrifice. Nagi leapt with incredible grace, swinging his blade valiantly. On and on he sliced, well into the moonless night. But Orochi's hide was like steel. The blade left nary a scratch. At long last, Nagi, his energy spent from the intense battle, dropped to his knees, fatigued and gasping for breath. He knew he was staring death in the face. It was then that the wolf appeared, as if to protect Nagi. It stood its ground before Orochi. In the darkness of the cave, the wolf's coat shone brilliantly. Alas, it was Shiranui, the wolf that dwelled outside of the village, bearing its fearsome claws. Shiranui leapt toward Orochi. Orochi reared its terrifying heads, readying its fangs for battle. The two beasts struggled wildly, thrashing in the darkness. Mysterious and terrifying, the spectacle continued. Shiranui summoned gusts of divine wind to counter Orochi's flames. As Orochi closed in on Shiranui, sharpened claws glistening, a gigantic tree suddenly sprouted forth, shielding the wolf. Shiranui fought gallantly to gain the upper hand. However, Orochi, protected by a mystical power, was not easily bested. Shiranui, covered in gashes, majestic coat dyed in crimson, stood exhausted before the mighty Orochi. Orochi saw a chance to strike what would be the final blow, but Shiranui refused to give in with its last ounce of strength. The majestic wolf gazed heavenward and unleashed a mighty howl. Suddenly, the black clouds overhead dissipated. The light from above glinted off Nagi's sword as a beacon of hope. Guided by his sword, Nagi, who had been taking shelter in the shadows, stood proudly to face his adversary. Channeling all his strength into his scarred and battered arms, he leapt ferociously towards Orochi, his sword poised high. The golden sword danced in his hands like a puppet on a string. One by one, Orochi's fearsome heads separated from their owner. Orochi's broken body collapsed in a lake of its own blood. In that instant, the curse that plagued the villagers was lifted. As the battle subsided, the sun shone once again in the sky. Shiranui had succumbed to Orochi's poison and struggled to breathe. Nagi scooped the beast into his arms and returned to Kamiki. When they reached the village, Shiranui was no longer moving. The village elder gently stroked the wolf's head. In response, Shiranui let out a hoarse and pitiful bark, then closed its eyes and drifted off as if into slumber. Peace had at last returned to Kamiki village. In honor of Shiranui's heroic exploits, the villagers erected a shrine and placed a statue of the wolf within it. Nagi's sword was christened Tsukuyomi and placed inside the moon cave. The villagers all looked forward to an age of endless peace. However, this is not the end of the story. There is more to this tale than most people know. 100 years had passed since Nagi and Shiranui's heroic exploits. It happened so quickly that no one in the village even took notice. Is this the legendary sword? Is this Tsukuyomi, the sword that banished the dreaded Orochi? No, it couldn't be. It's just a legend, nothing but a fairy tale. Oh, he who seeks power, he who has broken my bonds. Speak the words, I wish darkness unto the world. Utter that prayer unto me and unleash my power. Oh, did he do it? A horrible tragedy suddenly swept over the land. However, there was one village that seemed to escape the terrible curse. The tiny settlement of Kamiki. A village enjoyed the protection of a sacred tree. It is here that the real story begins. Not all that fake BS we were dealing with earlier. Wood sprite Sequoia. How troublesome. This is just like the ancient prophecy of doom. What has transpired to bring about such calamity? We must act quickly. There's no time to lose. My power has diminished over the years I've spent protecting this area. I don't have much time left in this world. Nice little jumbled up voice. Amaterasu, now's the time. We have never needed your power more. Shine your divine light upon this broken and polluted world. Let your heavenly rays become our hope as you guide us all. I don't know why, but she seems to talk slower than the rest of them. Okami, Amaterasu. Ah, such divine white light, such beauty and grace. The only one capable of such a wondrous spectacle is none other than our mother and the origin of all that is, Amaterasu. How delightful to see that the Savior whose brave sacrifice sealed away the evil demons so many years ago has not changed one bit. Seeing you emerge after so many years spent as a statue brings happiness to my heart. Sniff. Amaterasu. Gaze above you and take in the condition of the sky. Since your untimely departure from our midst, the world has succumbed to devious and vicious beasts. They have ravaged our fine and bountiful country of Nippon, or Japan. But never have the circumstances been worse than they are at this very moment. Please use your powers to banish the darkness and punish those who would do us harm. Yeah, what is this? Something stolen its way into my robe? Ho ho ho, ooh hee hee. I mean, she's got so many holes in it, it wouldn't be unheard of. Oh, what on earth? You again? Ow, 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 are you nuts? Boy, for a little thing, you sure make a lot of fuss. I was just trying to make the conversation a bit more interesting, that's all. Were you napping in my clothes again, Bug? Bug? I told you 1,000 times not to call me that. I'm a wandering artist. The name's Isun. Yeah, look at him go. I'll show you just how great I am, and it won't be long till you're bowing before my great brush. Wow. Well, what do you think? Even cuter than the real thing, no? What's with you, furball? You look kind of down in the dumps. Actually, you look kind of familiar. Got it. You look just like that statue of Shiranui. Whoa! What do you think you're doing? Are you crazy? A handsome guy like me should never be covered in wolf slobber. You'll regret messing with the greatest soon. Don't make me use my prized sword, Denkomaru, against you. Yeah, there are other issues at hand. Oh, what's that growling sound? And why is it so dark anyway? Oh, great God, Amaterasu. I've used all the power I have to protect Kamiki Village. The village lives on. Their spirits lie encased in my fruit. Cut it free and the village will be reborn. I trust in you. I know that you will lead us down the right path. Only your awesome power can restore life to the world. The trees returned to normal, huh? That Takuya girl sure said some weird stuff. The villagers' spirits are being kept inside the fruit? That's the fruit. That girl said that. If you cut it down, the village will be restored. But it's awfully high up there. If you don't use some kind of special power, there's no way you're gonna reach it. The darkness is really getting to me too. A lot can happen while you're taking a nap. Oh wow, finally, a little bit of control. That fruit sure is grown in a high place. The only way we're gonna reach it is with some kind of special power. Maybe I should go in here. I don't remember that intro being so long. I don't remember, like, I know there was dialogue in this game. And unfortunately, none of it is voiced. But I don't remember there being, like, that much. But maybe. Maybe it was always like that, I don't know. Where are we? It's got awfully quiet all of a sudden. I don't remember any place like this in the village. Well, we better keep our eyes peeled. You can use the right stick to look around. The left button changes your point of view. Boy, you really look helpless, so you sure you're gonna be okay? It'll be fine. I feel like the axis should be inversed. At least for the y-axis, I don't know. It's like whatever direction you pointed it in, the camera turns the opposite direction. I've played games like that, but it doesn't really feel natural to me. Hold on. That's an origin mirror. They say once your reflection appears on its surface, your memories will be stored in the mirror for all eternity. Well, to put it shortly, you can save your progress here. And let me give you a little advice. You should save a number of game files. That way, you can always go back if you get stuck or something. Gotta be prepared specifically while you're learning the ropes. Alright. Yeah, I learned that the hard way when I was playing Final Fantasy VI. I might have talked about that before on another stream, but... oh yeah, never again will I use a single save file. Also... I guess that's not options. This is options. Camera control, invert y-axis. That should be good. Are there no other options? Original settings. Aspect ratio minigames. Which I turned on. They had them off originally. Okay. It's just graphical settings. Controller setting. Controller vibration. Alright. I wanted to see if there was a way to make the dialogue speedier, but doesn't seem like it. Okay, that feels a little more natural. Okay, so what are we doing here? Look at all those pots just waiting to be broken. If you bust them, there might be something good inside. Press X to bust them with your head. Way to go, my furry friend. You can do that anytime you see something you can break. What about the shield? I'd rather use that. You know what, thinking about it. Okay. Alright, that's better. Alright. Whoa, hold on there, furball. Get a load of that. That chest looks mighty tempting. Let's go check it out. Getting up that high ought to be a piece of cake. Press A to jump, then press A again to do a wall jump. But make sure you press it firmly so you jump really high. I wonder if this game originally came out on PS2. I wonder if there's pressure sensitivity. I don't remember that, but maybe. Boy, do I still have my copy of... I'm not seeing it, but I display Haunting Grounds unstacked, so it could be behind that. I should, but I originally had the first release of this game, which was the PS2 version, so I knew you could do it. They say good luck is found in high places, so keep your eyes peeled. Don't want to miss any treasure. I don't want to fall off this cliff while I'm bashing these pots, but maybe that won't happen here. You obtained Holy Bone S. Amaterasu's favorite snack, restores 3 units of solar energy. Ah, horse coin. Looks like the bridge is out. This shouldn't be so hard. Amaterasu, was it? That's kinda long. Mind if I call you Ami? Listen, Ami. Ever heard of the spirits of the brush? Good brushwork has its own soul. At least that's what they say. Just watch. It'd take all day to explain. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? Ah, so here we have the heart and soul mechanic of this game. Nice, huh? Just a little technique I've mastered, called rejuvenation. It's one of many brush techniques that use divine power. It's a brush god power that can restore broken or missing things. I practiced really hard just to master this one technique. But there are 13. Each one is a power of one of the 13 brush gods. Originally, all 13 were a single powerful deity. When the deity died, its power was split into 13 separate gods. The gods now dwell within objects all around us, but God or no God, how could anyone have the power to master all 13? Just you wait. Okay, I don't get anything for taking out the torches. River of the Heavens. The River of the Heavens? They mean the fabled Stardust River? But I sure don't see anything like that around here. Couldn't be that little puddle over there, could it? Oh, that's how you speed up the text. Okay, I thought I pressed the Y button before. I pressed everything. I guess maybe cutscene is different from like actual game. Oh, damn it, I was gonna break those pots. Wow, look at the stars twinkle. I haven't seen such a beautiful nighttime sky in ages. Hey, look. Are those stars forming a pattern, or is it just me? Whoa, hold on. It wasn't... Okay, I don't get it quite, but it's like, sometimes you can speed the dialogue and sometimes you can't. So I've just been trying it with every piece of dialogue. But it's like, I don't know, certain parts do and certain parts don't, but there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason behind it. Guess I'll just have to draw the missing star. Bah. Looks like I'm just not ready to draw missing stars. Press right button to hold the brush, then X to draw. Sure spent a heck of a lot of time practicing that. So we're just... Okay. Wow. Why, if it isn't Mother Amaterasu. I apologize for not contacting you sooner during these long years. Okay, see, I can't make this one faster. Having never forgotten you, I, Yomigami, God of Restoration, have eagerly awaited this day when we could again meet. While you were away, the 13 spirits of the brush that you once possessed, including myself, have been scattered across this land of men, and now lie in disarray. I became a constellation and managed to survive until now. The time has come for you to seek out and reunite all the techniques. Your power is what needed to restore the dried riverbed of the heavens and renew the flow of stardust. Wow, that was Yummy, the god of rejuvenation. Wait, so you have the power of rejuvenation now? Can you really use it to restore the river of the heavens? That would mean you were as good as with a brush as yours truly. Nah, it couldn't be true. Who else could master this incredible god technique? Ah. Got an achievement. That wasn't part of this original game. Oh, sorry. I already skipped one, so it's like... skipped all of it. Something about restoring the riverbed, no doubt, though. Whoa! A river of stardust! So, this really must be the river of the heavens. But what I really want to know is who the heck drew the darn thing? I guess I don't think anybody... like... It was weird. Nobody could see the effects of the drawing being done, and then nobody could see Ami as like Amaterasu the god. Is there like just like this one little gap? Oh yeah, okay. Everybody just saw a wolf or something. You obtained Astral Pouch. Look what you found, Furball. This Astral Pouch here is amazing. It can swallow up lots of food. When it's full, it can revive its owner if he or she dies. Let's start feeding it with whatever food we can find around here. You consumed apple. Nectar-filled sour apple fills Astral Pouch a little bit. You consumed peach. Juicy and fragrant peach. Something like probably just fills the thing. You consumed orange. Orange with sharp citrus taste fills Astral Pouch a little bit. Yeah, they all say that. Alright. Wow. Look at her go. I don't remember what the... Oh, okay. Maybe it just enlarges the paw prints. I think when this game originally had a HD remaster, it was on the PS3, and they took out the mini games for the loading screens because, well, the game could just load quicker, and there really wasn't time for it. But then there were complaints that, you know, it was missing something from the original. And I think that was it. Otherwise, it was pretty much a... you know, 1-1 upgrade, just, you know, with enhanced visuals. I think maybe it did 720p. It might have even done 1080. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, there were complaints. So then when it got a re-release, remaster, Steam version, I think a Switch version came a little bit later, they included the option to do the loading screens. So I think that's why it says skip up there, because you could just skip the loading screens if you want, but they sort of just artificially put it in there if you want to mess around with them. I'm reluctant to start talking about the game too much more, though, because you never know when you're going to hit up another dialogue section. Especially early on in any game like this, it's going to be a big thing. I remember when this game came out, though, people were raving about it. This game got such tremendous praise at the time of its release, and you can kind of, I mean, see why. It was definitely unique at the time, and even up until now, there still isn't quite many games that have, like, similar mechanics, unless you have something with a touchscreen and they're really, whoever the devs are really putting some forethought behind the fact that you could do stuff with a touchscreen. But, you know, this was done before motion controls or anything like that, so I'm sort of playing it the original way, I'm just using a regular controller. I don't have the Wii version, I never got the PS3 version with the Move. Originally just played this on the PS2. And for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much a Zelda clone. 3D Zelda, obviously not similar to 2D, though I guess with this particular camera angle, maybe overhead it's a little closer to a 2D Zelda, but not really. Consume dumplings, doughy balls made from grain. Great. But when it starts to open up a little bit more, it starts to become more apparent that it's, you know, pretty much a copy in terms of gameplay to Zelda games from Ocarina up. And I don't know if that was ever acknowledged too much. It didn't seem like it at the time, but I remember noticing it as soon as I started playing this game a little more frequently. Is this the legendary shrine? We must be in the cave of Nagi. The legendary hero Nagi is enshrined here. He vanquished evil 100 years ago with the help of the White Wolf, Shiranui. First the River of the Heavens, and now this place. Where the heck are we, Furball? Boy, this place is a wreck. See? That sword's in really bad shape. God sure didn't do much to protect this place. Maybe I can recreate. But let's give it like some spikes. Okay. It didn't incorporate the spikes, but I guess that's okay. That really was your brushwork all this time. How'd you get so good? Exactly who are you anyway? Hey, there's another constellation. This one looks like a... I don't know what the hell that is, a fish? Some kind of bird? I still don't know what that is. What is that? Oh, is it a rat? Well, well, well. If it isn't Mother Amaterasu. It's been a long time, but with all these monsters around, the only place I could hide was in this shrine dedicated to ancient heroes. If there's anything I can do to assist you in your endeavors, I'm at your service. Make good use of this sword, as it was designed to conquer evil. Hey, that was the god Tachigami, master of the power slash technique. Wait a minute. If you're getting all these powers, then you're just like that Shiranui. You know, the wolf who fought and died alongside the great Nagi. When Shiranui died, the wolf's power is split into the 13 brush gods. This is crazy. Shiranui and Nagi? It's just like the legend. Well, anyway, I've never seen this power slash technique myself. How about showing your stuff off on that boulder over there? Let me see you slice it in half by drawing a single line. I won't believe it till I see it. Alright. Ha! It's not where I made the cut, but okay. Wow! I didn't think you had it in you, furball. I'm not even in the same league as you. Guess I really overestimated myself. Overestimated. Hey, furball. Amaterasu. I've made up my mind. If you're Shiranui reborn, then that means you can master all 13 techniques, right? In that case, I think I'll tag along until I'm as good as you. Lucky you. Yeah. Lucky me. It's no use trying to change my mind. There's no stopping me once I've made a decision. But enough about me. Now that you've mastered the power slash, you can cut down that thing Sakuya was talking about. Let's go back and give it a shot. Okay. Oh, it's so narrow. It's hard to tell from the great distance. Can I slash through all these? Oh, cool. Nice. Consumed grapes, juicy fruit. Something. juicy fruit, the gum. Oh, I can't jump down there. Nice. Now I can just destroy everything. So, this game was developed, of course, by Clover Studios, which is no longer sort of exists. I mean, kind of, but not really. It was sort of split up. But prior to this game, they didn't do anything except for the Beautiful Joe series. Uh-oh. What the? Where'd they come from? Ah, whatever. Draw first, X, question laters, right? You know that divine instrument you have on your back? Well, press the X to use its power against them. Look, Ami, once you've caught them off guard and turned them black and white, they're easy prey for your brush, no matter how nasty they are. Grab your brush, give them a power slash. Alright. It's pretty forgiving on where you make that cut. Spirit Globe. S. Humanity's faith, made solid, restores a little solar energy. And got an ink bottle. Bottle full of ink fills one of Amaterasu's ink pots. The Beautiful Joe series was something you wanted to get into just from the looks of it, but never got to. Yeah, well, it was a GameCube exclusive, which I had. I got it a little bit later than the PS2, but there was the other issue with me was that it wasn't fully mine, so like it was shared with a family member basically, so I never really wanted to put too much money into it, but then I ended up keeping all the games that I bought for it anyway, and it's like, this is a big mess, but regardless, I never really had that too many titles for the GameCube, and I've been trying to get some of them. I just haven't. But yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's like I wanted to do the Beautiful Joe series. I wanted to play it at the time. I remember at school all the kids were talking about it and it just seemed cool, but never one of those things that really came into fruition for me. So I didn't get to experience their games prior to Okami, which, like I said, was pretty much just Beautiful Joe. I think maybe there was 2 on the GameCube and 1 on the DS. But always looked kind of neat. But anyway, after this, I think this and God Hand came out at the, well, not at the same time, but during the same year. I think this was early. God, I want to say, when was this game? 2005, 2006? And God Hand was later that same year, so, which I've never played either, but it's like, God Hand has such reverence behind it, almost the same as this game does. I think this game became a little bit more popular, though, obviously, considering how many ports it has, and God Hand just kind of is that sort of cult classic game. God Hand has some issues from what I've seen of it. I've seen a playthrough of it, and just from what people talk about. But this game, a lot of people kind of consider it nearly perfect, and from what I remember, very little in terms of flaws. Maybe some slight annoyances here and there, but for the most part, it's like pretty damn good. But we'll see. Like I said, this is one game where I played it once, kind of thought to revisit it later on, but never actually did, so. Oops. Okay, well, I'm just checking something while we're not having to read 1,000 different things. But unfortunately, after those 2 games, Okami and God Hand, they didn't exactly sell too well. and you kind of, I always thought it was weird, like finding out like later on that, oh, Okami didn't do that great on its original release. It's like so many people talked about how good it was, and it was getting so many good reviews from game outlets, magazines, websites, TV series like X-Play and other things that were going on at the time. It was just universal acclaim. I remember people talking about it, you know, just word of mouth, and it just seemed so odd to me that a game that had such positive feedback and what seemed like was pretty vocal too. It wasn't like some best kept secret or anything, but that it underperformed. Now, I never really looked at the sale records. I don't know if those have ever actually been released, but it didn't meet Capcom's expectations. And remember, this was a time when Capcom was being real shitty about a lot of things. They've sort of been making a comeback of late, but this is starting around the time, you know, early mid 2000s, where people started going on about, you know, the Crapcom and how bad Capcom's practices were. You know, they started getting into the DLC issues and things like that. They were canceling things like Mega Man Legends 3, so people were not too happy with them. And this series being published by them, you know, they get the final word as to whether it's going to be developed or not. Well, they never really put any more effort into focusing on the series until, you know, it was able to be ported to other consoles, and then, you know, apparently, I guess it sold like hotcakes after that. So just considering how many times it's been ported to other consoles. There we go, all is restored. Wow, the village has been restored. Sequoia came through big time. She really was protecting the village. But I sure wish I could have spent some more time in her kimono. If you know what I mean. But seriously, with monsters running around and all, the village could still be in danger. Let's go see how they're doing down there, or all doing down there. Also, hold on. I wonder if we could change this. It's not like this game is running at 4K right now. This game doesn't have like too many options. What the hell? As far as visuals go, it was basically, I think 1080 is where it maxed out at. So I don't know why it's running like the, what's it? The overlay, why it's so small and tiny. It's sort of a pain in the ass, but oh well. Also, every time I tab out, it converts to windowed, but when I click back in, it decides that it wants to stay windowed. The original settings. Wait a second, where the hell's the what? Okay, I guess you can only do display settings at the main menu. Okay, that sucks. Well, I guess now I know not to tab out. I guess we'll have to look for a mirror. Maybe I could go back in here. That's a little bit shitty. Okay, hold on. I don't know. Okay, return title. Why wouldn't you have that option, like, accessible at all times? I don't get it. I guess thinking about it, technically there was a sequel, Okami Den. I always heard that it was like sort of a sequel, sort of like just a port. I don't know. It's weird. I'll have to look into it at some time. But Okami Den, I think, was on the... I don't think it was on the 3DS. I think it was the regular DS. But Chibi Terasu, it was like a shortened experience of Okami. Maybe. But I don't know if it covers like new things or not. I'll have to look into it at some point because I completely forgot that existed. Despite the fact that I have a Chibi Terasu plush somewhere, it's boxed away, but... What is this? What in the world? I don't remember there being a statue here. Well, whatever. Let's go talk to the villagers. What if this is the villagers? Not all of them in one, but you know. What if they're all just statues? Ever think about that, huh? But anyway, not to super spoil anything, but this game ends on a cliffhanger of sorts. I mean, you know, you get the main story bits resolved, but it's basically open-ended with a strong lead-in, so you know that the developers were hoping or banking that there was going to be, you know, sequel in the future. I don't think Okami Den covers it, though, but it was like, at the time, just probably about a year or two later, the studio ended up folding in a way. I've got a bad feeling about this. Kaminki Village is supposed to be famous for its scenic beauty. I wonder what's going on down there. I don't know. I don't need to draw anything, do I? What if I make a bright, happy sun? Hey, Furball, you trying to draw the sun or something? You may be a god, but come on, that's impossible. Oh, okay. That was a good idea. See, even the game knows what I was trying to do. What was that? But anyway, the studio kind of folded. It was absorbed into Capcom, I think, their core development team, so Clover was no longer working. Some of the people left, and they managed to make their own independent studio, which was Platinum Games, which, of course, has been behind lots of classics, quote-unquote, for many people. But of course, you've got like the Bayonetta series, Nier Automata they developed. A lot of times they'll be hired by publishers to make, you know, certain games. Astral Chain, I think, was their most recent one, but loads and loads and loads of games. They've been a successful studio. They're sort of hit and miss for me. It's like I'm not 100% on board with everything they release. Metal Gear Rising, stuff like that. Hey, there's a statue here too. It's like the villagers have turned to stone or something. Not again. It's one of those smaller monsters that are lurking about. More like that's gotta belong to something much bigger. Let's hurry up and find somebody with a pulse around here. Maybe in one of the buildings. Or maybe not. However, Platinum Games is a competent studio. They do tend to borrow game mechanics a lot, so I'm not always on board to think that, oh, they're so original. Because I think you could sort of say that this was sort of the start of it. It's not 100% the Platinum Games team, but, you know, a good majority of them were included here. But, you know, Beautiful Joe, it was sort of just like a side-scrolling beat-em-up, in a sense. It had some unique mechanics, but I think it was more unique say, than this game. The thing is that a lot of times what they'll do is that they'll make one huge, leap in creativity with a mechanic, but then build a game around it that's just kind of taking principles or basic gameplay mechanics or, something like that from another well-established series. Hey, what are you doing? This is no time to be goofing off. And like I said, sometimes it works. For most people, I think it works 100% of the time, but sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. I'm just looking at shit. Can't do it, huh? What does that mean? Huh. This is just a save point? Alright. Fine by me. What are you doing up here? No good, this one's not moving. Everyone here was perfectly fine just a few hours ago. There's definitely something strange going on around here. The village is back, but what's up with this dark sky? Maybe it's dark outside the village too? Let's find some high ground so we can take a look. I started there. Oh, don't tell me I gotta draw the sun. Like I did about 5 minutes ago. Let's go back to that sacred deck we were on before. Yeah, that's where I'm going. You just had to see to believe, I guess. I'm going. This is bad. The sun's not even shining. It's as black as night as far as the eye can see. Not a single villager can move a muscle. Is it some kind of curse? Did a monster do this? It's not gonna stay like this forever, is it? If only the sun were out to light our way. If you could draw a circle in the sky, we'd have ourselves a sun. Yeah. But I guess that'd be impossible even for a god like you. Maybe we better seek out another brush god for help. Of course, if you had that kind of power from the start, that'd be a different story. Huh? But you drew a circle in the sky before, didn't you? You're not hiding your brush techniques from me, are you? They should have made a contingency for people that were too clever for this game. And just had it. So you didn't have to go into the village. Oh, what the? Come to think of it, your name is Amaterasu. That's the name of the sun god. So, it'd follow that you had the sunrise technique from the start. With it, you could even turn night into day. Wow, you're no run-of-the-mill god, that's for sure. The flowing brush is like music from the heavens. That's a line from one of my grandfather's poems. He felt a skilled artist was like a musician. Wait, something about shape or color, I didn't quite catch that. Since you're such a great artist yourself, why don't we name your brushwork after that poem of his? It's called Celestial Brush. After all, your brush did bring out the sun. Well, Ami, let's get back to the village. We gotta see if the villagers are back to normal now. Who are you? Orange Man. Village Elder, Mr. Orange. Oh, okay. It was literal with that, I guess. A white wolf? Not the one who fought that terrible creature with Nagi. You couldn't possibly be the legendary Shiranui. No, it can't be. That story is 100 years old. Still, you look a lot like that statue of Shiranui. On the other hand, you don't look quite as smart. Oh, no need to growl like that. Can you really understand what I'm saying? Well, I'm not one to mince words. I just state the facts. Oh. Gas ninjas. What's this sudden chill down my spine? Here they come, Furball. Those are the monsters that have been plaguing these lands. They sneak into the villages and cause all sorts of trouble. Step aside, Furball. This is a job for my trusty sword, Denkomaru. Oh, he just like died? I didn't even need to make a breaststroke? Alright. What are those balls? Wow, you really get aggressive when you're mad, don't you? Hey, you got yourself some praise. And look, see how that dried up spring began flowing again? That's because rooting an area of monsters restores the god's power to the land. People call it something. God damn it. When I was speeding through the text, I try to be as light as possible, but sometimes it's just far enough. The more you restore the land to its natural beauty, the more praise you'll get. It's a source of your power. Few people believe in gods these days, and that may weaken you, but if you try real hard, your true power might shine through. But boy, there's sure been a lot of monsters around lately. And that Mr. Orange you tossed around up on the sacred deck? Looks like he thinks you're a regular wolf. Seems the gods have grown so weak people can't see them anymore. Grumbling intensifies. Anyway, I'll show you around the village. I have a feeling we're in for an epic something or other. This should be fun, Furball. What is this? You obtained feedbag seeds. Freshly roasted seeds that seed-loving animals can't resist. Why, you little devil. Look at this sweet grub you found. Hey, wait. This is animal food. Still, we could save it to give to, I guess, an animal. Let's use it when we try to approach animals later. Something good might come out of using it the right way. I know gods aren't supposed to use creatures in this manner, but what the heck? Let's make an exception this time. Oh, I almost forgot. There was something I wanted to tell you. Whenever you want to check the items you've obtained, just press the, I forget what they call that on the Xbox controller, start, to open the fan menu. When the fan menu is open, you can check and use items you have. There are other things you can do there too. The fan menu is your key to a successful adventure. Alright. Astral pouch. Alright, okay. These are techniques. Rude monkey-like creatures that harass and tease humans. Whether frightening the locals or causing outbreaks of disease, these troublemakers have proven to be the bane of humanity. Said to hide in gloomy places, they are portrayed as flautists. I guess that's the end of that. Travel tips. This is stuff we all learn in the tutorials, so I'm not gonna bother with that. Map. Alright, cool. So what is this? Okay. This is one of the games where I remember it being a actual, like, good example of cell shading. This is probably one of the best examples still of actual cell shading. And there's been quite a few, but not too many are all that great. Ah, great Shuranoi, oh no. Ah, I feel it, I sense it. Foul beasts dwell in this place. Concentrate, look hard, you see, right behind you now. What the hell? Did you cause this? Consumed ginseng. Looks like a carrot. Roots bursting with nutrients. Fills astral pouch a little bit. So what the hell, man? Humans are not witness to such battles, but I saw it. The fighting went on for exactly, however long that was. You fight well. I have chosen the path of Buddha, but in you I sense another power. And I see the path you have chosen is also a path of truth. I see. Okay, well, I'm glad I got something out of that then. I'm trying to think of all the examples that were using cell shading at the time. I mean, obviously you had stuff like Killer 7 and 13. I don't remember if that preceded this game. It might have. But... well, in the case of 13, I don't think that was necessarily the best game. Killer 7 I've never played, but I've heard people like it. I remember there was a Hulk game at the time. Like a Bite or Listen. I've had just about enough of this. I don't know if it's stray dogs or monsters or what, but someone keeps messing up my crops. Going around digging holes with Y, it makes me mad. If I catch you digging around here, you'll get a good thumping. Do I do it on the plants? Oh, you gotta repeatedly press. Ah, turnip. Tuber with crispy texture. Shouldn't have told me how to do it. Anyway, the whole game came out... oh boy, I think I came out with that Ang Lee Hulk, which... that was still when superhero movies were trying to find some form of footing, but that wasn't it. Hello? Oh, yeah, I bit instead. Well, what a fine-looking wolf. What's your name? Mine's Kushi. It's a pleasure to meet you. Sake brewer, Kushi. Working in the fields again, are you? Isun, are you and the wolf together? This is where I grow the rice for making my sake. You know. But I have to manage the harvest all on my own. It's hard work. Maybe I should have Susanoo give me a hand again this year. No, listen to me blabbering on. I just can't help chatting to you. Alright. Why, Ami, I think you found a friend here. You'll meet many people who want to talk to you like this. You should talk to them 2 or even 3 times. Being a god and all, you can actually tell when to talk. Because you'll see a triangle above their head. Triangle? That means they still have something to say. Might even be valuable information sometimes. They may just be muttering to themselves, but it pays to listen. Oh, that triangle, okay. I was wondering if it was like a leftover from the PlayStation 2 dialogue. Susanoo's a neighbor of mine. He's a little unusual, but he goes around with a huge sword slung over his shoulder. He's always practicing with it. They say he's a direct descendant of our legendary hero Nagi. And he loves his sake too. He often pops around here to buy it. Make sure to say hello whenever you see Susanoo. He could use a friend. I should think. He's always on his own. Okay, I'm guessing that's where all the training things were. Hello. A white wolf! Now that's a rare sight. Oh, Mrs. Orange, I see. Did you come down from the mountains just to play with us? Well, you better be careful. Lately, some monsters have been attacking the villagers. Do you even know who you're talking to, Grandma? This here's Shiranui Reborn. The wolf and I have it covered. Those monsters are history. Well, if it isn't Isun, then riding a wolf, are we? This one certainly resembles Shiranui, especially the nose. Well, I'd better get back to my work. Mumbling. What's with these trees? Why are they black? Oh, okay, it just regrows. Here to listen to the ramblings of an old woman, are you? Well, I was doing the laundry, but when it was ready to dry, I noticed my drying pole was gone. Oh, whatever should, I guess, shall I do? I don't know. Oh, is she missing it? I think I might have to find it. Fetch quests. Staples. Hello. I don't know. Maybe I'll save that. A white wolf. Now that's just plain weird. Sure looks like a weak little bugger. Think you could beat my dog Hayabusa? Well, listen to this. There's this field my mama tends to, you see. Well, Hayabusa managed to dig up 9 turnips in a row, even though my mama was chasing him around, trying to slug him. There are actually 10 turnips in that field. Hayabusa's fixing to get all 10. Think you can dig up all turnips in my mama's field? Don't forget, you'll have to avoid being slugged by my mama. I'll admit you're the better canine if you can do it. She's gonna try to slug us. Not exactly my idea of a good time, Mommy. At least you have your celestial brush and wicked brushstroke. Oh, she just like leaves you alone after a while? Wait. I guess it counts if you dig it up, but it still like goes away. Damn. It's like you could sort of dig a hole. It's sort of confusing that she just like disappears though. But then the soil like regains its fortitude after a sec. There we go. It's like a super turnip. Alright, that's it. Leave me alone. You offered oddly shaped turnip. It looks like a mandrake. Hey, that's the oddly shaped turnip Hayabusa and I have been looking for. That means you've broken Hayabusa's record by digging up all 10 turnips? Gosh darn it. Fine, you're the better canine. Anyway, it actually feels good to have a new goal to aim for. Now he believes in God. Faith restored. Oh, nice. There's a mega something. Radish. Pure white spherical vegetable. Oh. I saw that you could feed the chickens. I feel like they would take better to the seed than the dog would, but I don't know if it has any benefits. Lots of oranges, too. Nothing to eat here. Oh, wow. Okay. Are we looking for something? But then there's just like this stack of oranges there. So, I guess. Can't do anything with that. Is there any way to go faster while you're... Okay, I guess when that's... Maybe those orbs that were up in that other pond like restore that meter. I don't know what necessarily happens. Maybe because Amaterasu's the sun god, the water just sort of drains her out. Got a dragonfly bead. Uniquely shaped bead that shines in multiple layers of color. Okay, that's interesting. I don't remember what any of this stuff does. It's almost like playing this game for the first time again. I remember things about it and story elements, but it's like not that much. Oh, we can increase attributes. Solar energy. Oh, okay. Okay. I get it now. Alright, so being in the water is a health drain. It's not like fire meter or anything. Okay. What about that bead, though? Treasure tome. What is this? What does it do, though? Interesting. It says 1 of 3, so maybe I need 3 of them. Anyway, thinking about examples of cell shading, I guess it's been used to better extent of late. I mean, you had basically 2 of the best games that actually used it were Okami and Wind Waker. And then, I don't know, I remember it being like really frowned upon. Like every time a game would come out that had cell shading, everybody was like, ugh, cell shading. It looks so gross. And there was just sort of this disdain that was attached to games that used it. But, I mean, I always thought there could have been potential for it, and lately it's been brought up more to that potential, but it wasn't until like games like this, I think, where people started warming up to the idea of games actually using cell shading. Okami and Wind Waker. Sheesh, she's always snoring like a bear. This is the home of the 2-bit middle-aged warrior Sano. He goes around claiming to be a descendant of Nagi. He's famous around here for his lineage, but he's awfully lazy and too off the wall to be a descendant of a legendary hero. Why you gotta be so down on him? Hey, is it just me, or can you hear snoring from underneath this jug? Oh, lots of apples down there. Ah. I am the greatest. Okay. Typical Japanese trope, the snot bubble. Oh, that didn't do it, huh? If that didn't wake him, nothing will. Let's just leave him for a while and find something else to do. Fine by me, I guess. I don't think I can get that. What the hell? It's not like there's... I mean, I'd almost think, like, maybe... Nah. It's like the only reason we could make that bridge earlier was because we were rejuvenating an old bridge that was already in existence, but... Can't just, like, make a bridge out of thin air, unfortunately. You consumed cabbage. Thick, fibrous vegetable. Alright, let's go up the hill, I guess. What are you doing up here? Heave, heave! This is weird. My mind really wants to shift this rock, but my body won't cooperate. It's like I'm made of lead. Could this be a case of demonic possession? I sure hope not. Maybe. What the hell? Don't just slap your ass at me. I don't know if he's down and out yet. Obtain Demon Fang. Fang forged in demonic hatred. Beautiful and deadly. Guess I wasn't big enough across. Good to know that you could dot paint in their eye to damage their vision, I guess. Accumulated praise. Whoa, Ami. You suddenly started glowing. That means your divine attributes can be enhanced. Well, you sure look excited. Here, I'll show you what I mean. I already know. No need to go into that. Let's take a stab at enhancing your divine attributes. I'm gonna open the fan menu where you can, or you'll see your divine attributes. Use the praise you've accumulated to enhance any attribute you want. I guess I'll do the ink tank. Well, is it all coming back to you or what? It's hard to notice such a small enhancement. Oh, lighten up, Furball. This is one big step from the new and improved Amaterasu. Keep up the good work. Oh, I almost forgot. We better check in on that dude. Dude? I feel as light as a feather now. Sadly, that doesn't make it any easier to shift this boulder. Who went and blocked the only path out of here anyway? There's no way I can get back to the city now. Say, pup, your owner lives here in the village, right? And so, you must know that guy, Susanoo. Can you get him to come here? They say he's a descendant of the legendary hero Nagi. If anyone has, or can do something about this rock, it's him. That's strange. This boulder wasn't here before. Alright. Give me a sec. I wonder if I could, like, jump on him, but no. Let's wake this guy up. Trying to do it earlier. What the? See, I always try to do things that you end up having to do later, but it doesn't work when you try it the first time around. I feel so well rested. I planned to meditate underground, but fell fast asleep. Who are you? What business do you have with Susanoo, the greatest warrior ever? the great warrior Susanoo. Do even the beasts know of my great exploits now? Well, Fido, I'm not looking for apprentices. Go back to the mountains and play with your monkey friends. How dare a mangy mutt like you interrupt my meditation? Get a load of this guy. All brawn and no brains. Quit messing around and come with us. You snuck in here again. Quit bugging me, you bug. I told you, don't call me a bug. Come on, Ami. We're taking him with us. What do you think you're doing? Put me down this instant. What will the neighbors think? Could just get off. Not sure what much he could do with a wooden sword, but he's got that secret family technique, maybe? You mangy mutt. You brought me all the way here just to test yourself against me? Then prepare to taste the wrath of my trusty blade. Obvious the name of it, damn. Hold on a minute. You're the legendary Susanoo? Yep. None other than Susanoo, the greatest warrior who ever lived. By the way, never interrupt warriors engaged in battle. But I've got a favor to ask you. This huge boulder blocking the path is really getting in my way. Can't you do something about it? What? Come on, please. I mean, you are Nagi's descendant, aren't you? Surely, one stone's no match for your mighty skills, right? It is certainly not beyond my ability. Really? Great. Okay then. No time like the present, go for it. Wait. A boulder of this size is not very easy even for me. This will require my utmost focus to magnify the power of my sword. I shall retire to the training grounds to make preparations. Wait for my return. I wonder. I've never seen the guy train seriously. Ever. Yeah, wait. What is this? Oh. It's just this soon. I thought maybe it was another one. Could he really be a descendant of Nagi? Huh. Look at that. There is well, it's a technique you get later on. I remember there was a dungeon where you had to jump between like those flying bud things. So I think there's something that can like grapple us to him, but that, boy, I remember getting that technique like late. Well, I don't know if it has anything to do with the daytime or nighttime, but we can try and bring the daylight back. I know I told that merchant I could help, but a boulder that size? I don't care if I'm a legendary bloodline, it's just too big. Oh no! I can't believe I've run out of a sake at a time like this. Just chucked it behind it. This won't do one bit. That's it for today. I'll just have to trade tomorrow. Can't trade without sake to fuel the fire. Trading will just have to wait till tomorrow. Why do today what can be put off until tomorrow? That's doing things the Susanoo way. Sake? Oh yeah, this village has a sake brewing girl, doesn't it? Seems like you would have taken a little bit closer note to that than most people. Not one of those oh yeah moments. Hello. Oh, hello there. I got a bit of a problem, you know. I have to, polish rice in the mill house before I can use it. But the mill's broken. A wicked monster broke it the other day. It's hopeless trying to make good sake without clean rice. Wow, that's too bad. I should never have let that monster try my new thunder brew? Okay. A broken mill and flattened crops. That's the thanks I get. Don't go giving monsters sake. They're bad enough sober. Sheesh, what's she thinking? Anyway, I guess this is a matter of fixing something that's broken. Sounds like something you can handle with your brush, Ami. Do I gotta do it from here, or can I do it from outside? I don't know. I guess we gotta do it from outside. Not exactly the best camera angle. I mean, how specific do we have to get with this thing? I don't think I really had to do all that. But it worked. What's this? The mill's been mended? Who on earth did that? I'd completely given up the idea of making my sake. But now I can get on with polishing the rice. Well, no time like the present. I'd better get started. Yeah, hurry it up. Sashaying back inside. Hi. You're interested in how to brew sake, are you, Snowy? The hell did we come up with that name? Well, this thing's here for polishing the rice, you see. I'll tell you what. I've got something I think you'll like. Hee hee, it's just some leftover stock from the store. But I made it myself. It's called Vista of the Gods. Oh, but are you even old enough to drink, Snowy? Of course. Oh, okay. What the? Balls of rice wrapped in seaweed. Oh, you mean jelly-filled donuts? Bale of rice fastened with straw. I thought maybe I had to, like, cut the rice or do something like that, but no. She just had some ready to go, so I guess that's good enough. Hold it right there, Fido. That smell. Is that Kushi's famous homebrewed sake? Yes. Fido, my friend, did you bring me some of Kushi's sake? Oh, what a glorious day. Ah, good old sake. A man without drink is like a warrior without his trusty sword. In fact, it is said that Nagi himself relied on the power of sake in his battle with the dreaded Orochi. It's all so clear now. Let the training begin. I'll just try a bit of my usual routine. Okay, here I come. Oh. We have to make him believe. Feast your eyes on this. Susano style exploding implosion. Yeah. Susanoo style exploding implosion. Maybe it's a dual effort, I don't know. Could have just done that myself. That's amazing. You sliced that huge rock clean in half. You really are something. Wow, I didn't think you could do it, Pops. Me either. I mean, of course I could. After all, I am Susanoo, the greatest warrior ever. You weren't just showing off when you said you're Nagi's descendant. Someone like you'd have no trouble fighting monsters off, huh? Sweating. Well, anyway, thanks a lot. Now I can start doing business again. Did you say monsters? Oh, of course, no problem. This is a job for the most skilled warrior in all of Nippon. Yes, I shall rid these lands of their vile presence. Just sit back and watch the great Susanoo work his magic. At least the laugh came through all right. He shouldn't get all puffed up. He's nothing without us. Think he'll be okay? The monsters outside the village are nasty. Ah, glorious Amaterasu. Those ass. What a pleasure to witness your heroic deeds. I am in awe. When you cleaved the boulder into two, my heart skipped a beat. To see your skills with the brush is to be witness to great art. Yeah, so do we get a reward or something, lady? I hardly think your participation had any impact, little bug. It's as soon. Stop calling me a bug. I'll crawl back into your kimono if you say that again. My word. Oh, relax, lady. Furball here is more comfy anyway. Let's get back to that reward thing you were talking about. Come on, Ami. Put your paw up or something. Go on, shake. I must apologize. I would like to reward you, but I'm afraid I haven't the power. I can barely muster enough strength to make a flower bloom. Though my body stands firmly here within the confines of the village, my roots spread far and wide, protecting remote areas outside. These parts of me are known as guardian saplings. They collect the praise and adoration that gives me strength. The recent evil is eroding the guardian saplings. If this continues, I will wilt away as well, and my power will vanish. Worse yet, the dark power grows stronger with each passing day. Life as we know it will be consumed utterly in no time. Oh man, this is getting heavy. The great and powerful Amaterasu, could I be so bold as to request your assistance in rejuvenating these guardian saplings by lifting the curse that enslaves them? I shall mark the locations of nearby saplings on your map. Okay. I have grown tired. I haven't even the strength to speak now. I hope that my request has not fallen on deaf ears. Amaterasu, may the fresh scent of flowers protect you always. I'm not sure how much protection that provides, but thank you for the thought. Bah. I'm always itching for a good fight, but I sure don't want to poke my nose into this mess. Still, I'm stuck with a furball here till I get all the brush skills. Anyway, Ami's a god and all. What could possibly go wrong? Hey, did you listen to her, furball? You get the rest of the brush techniques to save the world, and I'll steal and learn them. Yeah, that's the ticket. At any rate, let's start by following those marks on the map. Oh, that's it? He just needed to move up 2 feet and set up a stall? I figured he was going to be, like, off into the world. Oh, okay. I guess this is before mobile maps. The hell's ultimate mirror? I mean, I know it's the mirror that we saw before, but... what difference does it make? Maybe it's fast travel. Okay then, guess I better offload some stock before heading back. Feel free to take a look if you've been sent to do the shopping, pup. I guess. I feel like these might be useful at some point. I don't remember the combat being exceptionally hard, but I remember there was some bosses, maybe some additional instances where things got a little tough, so... you never know, it might be a good idea to stock up on some supplies like that. Huh? You probably know this already, Ami, but this here is Shinshu Field, the most beautiful field in Nippon. At least, it's supposed to be. But ever since that incident, I've been getting a bad vibe. We better watch where we're going. Okay, I can look up with that. Let's pay attention to the map as we push ahead. Can they rejuvenate these trees? Big blotch. Doesn't look like it. I'm guessing this is something. Ami, that's the first Guardian sapling marked on our map. It's supposed to be a place for travelers to rest and recuperate. But just look at it. It looks like it could fall over at any moment. It looks pretty heavily rooted. It just looks sad. This place is definitely cursed from the looks of it. Places where evil has taken hold, luring monsters from far and wide, are known as cursed zones. But I've never seen one this big. It's withered all the plant life in the area, even that big tree. It'd take a monster with powers beyond even a god to do this. That tree's an offshoot of Sequoia. It protects nature in the area. Maybe the natural beauty here would return if we revived it. But how the heck could we do that anyway? I don't know, I was about to fight this thing. Maybe that has something to do with it? That's not what I meant to do. Damn. I wanted to group them up. So I didn't have to do as many strokes as it would probably take. I don't know if these like respawn or if this is just solely the ticket to getting back what needs to be done. Wait, what was that? Did I miss something? Oh, damn it. I think I missed one of those demon fangs. I don't remember there being any complaints at the time when this game came out, but I do remember when the Wii version came out, they're like, oh, it'll be so much better because it was so difficult to control the brushstrokes. The only thing, I never really had a problem with the brushstrokes using just a controller. The only thing I'm noticing now is that they don't really go straight in accordance, like in accordance to where your stick is moving. Like sometimes they'll go diagonally, which I guess is probably handy in some instances, but it's a little bit weird too. But yeah, like it goes diagonally in a direction. I guess I couldn't say for sure right now, but maybe that helps when you're trying to do like more complex shapes. I don't know. But yeah, that wasn't really something people ever mentioned, like, oh, the brush controls are so bad. Nothing like that. In my opinion, I sort of feel like motion controls are just sort of like motion controls typically did, but overcomplicate the mechanics a bit. Sometimes you can incorporate motion controls to a, otherwise normally controlled game, and it does fairly well. Like I remember doing, I had the Wii version of Resident Evil 4, I thought that worked pretty well. And then later on I'd get the version on the PS3 where you could use it with the move. And it functioned nice. It wasn't a necessity. It's not like you needed to do that. You could use motion controls with, I remember Resident Evil, because they re-released the one that was on the GameCube, the original remake. And they re-released it for the Wii, but then they also gave it optional motion controls, and I did not like that. That was not an enjoyable experience. What just happened? I was out here chopping wood and communicating with nature as usual, or I guess it's communing, when I heard a loud rumbling like an earthquake from the land. Or was it the lake? Then a huge gust of wind blew up out of nowhere. I don't know what happened next, but when I came to, it was like this. My art workshop was just across the stream there, but it up and vanished when this curse zone appeared. Earth must be angry. All I want is to live with nature in peace, man. But now I can't. I noticed a figure running from the lake toward Kamiki. Whoever it was, man, I hope Mother Earth kept him safe. What's up, nature buddy? Curious about that cave? It's the entrance to a place called Hana Valley. The site of an amazing waterfall, but monsters have moved in now. There's a trippy crystal ball that makes plants grow enshrined there. You'd think gardeners would be flocking here for it. Actually, not long ago, that Susanoo guy was marching in there. It's weird. Normally he runs away at the sight of monsters, and he hardly seems the type to try his hand at gardening. Anyway, it's bad karma, man. You could be attacked if you went in. Probably just what we'll have to do then, don't you think? I don't think there's anything else here to do. Maybe I can cut this rock. I don't know. No, but I can break those pots. Alright, yeah, from the looks of it, this place is pretty limited right now, so... This might be our first dungeon, I forget, but... Let's go ahead and take a look. Hana Valley, eh? Anything but. No good. Got a save point right at the beginning. You obtain Traveler's Charm. Protect travelers from danger, increase godhood by 1 level. Something I equip, or is that just like a permanent stat upgrade? Okay. Cool. Uh-oh. A party in the house tonight. Is it dead? Okay, good. And I gotta see about setting up DS4 for Windows. I don't mind the Xbox controller, but as I've said before, it's really clacky. I feel like I could hear it. Actually, I think when I was listening back to the Final Fantasy XII stream I did a few days ago, granted the game was real low, but man, I could hear that controller clacking away. Something about them buttons and just how the sticks are positioned just makes those clacks so much louder. Doesn't really happen as much with the DualShock 4. Huh? We got rid of the monsters, so why did the gods' power disappear? Guess the curse on the gods of these lands must be really strong. They can't intervene till we do something about this stagnant air. Seems awfully dank in here. Feed bag. Didn't I just buy that? What is this ghost tree? Hey, check out that tree, it's moving. Better be careful, Ami. You see that? It just threw some fruit at us. Show it we mean business. Try to hit its fruit back at it. Draw one quick stroke to hit the fruit. You remember how, don't you? There you go. Look, you stunned it with its own fruit. Let's pass on by this creepy old tree while we can. Okay, I guess I could just stun it only. Works for me, I guess. Nice. Well, I don't really see any benefits going over there. What is this? Wait, what is this? Statue's all dirty. I feel kind of sorry for it standing in a place like this. Well, I got some ink out of it, so I guess that's good. Yes. Oh, damn. Man, I always keep moving like there's a dodge mechanic, but I don't think there is. Maybe I get one later, I don't know. What the? Okay, I couldn't quite tell what was going on. I think it has some sort of area of effect attack, but maybe you just gotta jump over that. Oh, look. What's all that racket? Oh, it's you, Mud. What are you doing here? Go home. I already told you I'm not looking for an apprentice. Anyway, Hana Valley is no place for a mutt like you. Beyond this point lies my secret training ground. It's the perfect place to hide. I mean to train. Now Scoot, be off with you. Alright. Seems to be missing something, don't you think? Ew. Why was that water all brown? What in heaven's name? How did that happen? Well, now I can go hide. Now I can go train. Probably nothing else to do here now. I remember the fact that the flowers bloomed as like a running effect. It seemed to tickle a lot of people. People thought it was like a very unique and grand feature, but it's a little visual. It's nice though. What a strange place. Is this really the secret training ground of Susanoo mentioned? Speaking of which, where'd Pops go anyway? More concerned about this curvy sprout. What's up with this tiny sapling? I smell a faint scent like Sakuya's coming from the sapling. That's weird. I mean, I guess he was all up in that kimono, but still. Is there something else around here? I haven't read any sign I've come across. Sacred Tree Cherry Cascade. I haven't seen anything remotely like a sacred tree around here. Well, you know, that's probably it right there. But yeah, I guess you lack the imagination. I almost feel like we need something. Oh, that works. Maybe. Huh? I bet something will happen if you can just get this right. I know this room's hiding some kind of secret. Moonlight? Actually, I don't know if that even works that way. Well, there's sunrise. There must be like a moon something or other. Works a different way. Well, we probably need an additional technique if nothing else works, so I'm just gonna go down here. Save, why not? What are you doing? What is that bear? What now? You foul beast. How'd you get in here? Foul beast? It's a bear on a ball. You have some nerve sneaking into my private training ground. Now you shall get a taste of my new secret technique. Your foul beast looks like an ordinary sleepy bear to me, Pops. Enough talk. My blade thirsts for battle. Here goes nothing. Susanoo style, Susanoo. Sue? What? What the? Let's try that again. Exploding implosion, Susanoo style, Susanoo. Sir? No! Susanoo! Now for Susanoo style. Exploding implosion. Wow. That'll teach you, you foolish beast. I was gonna say foul. You're no match for my new secret technique. Rest in peace, foul beast. The great warrior Susanoo condemns the offense, not the offender. Anyway, there are other monsters I must deal with. What the hell is this? Sleeping like a log. Can't believe it can sleep in a place like this. Alright, pushing mechanic's got like a sort of a magnetism to it, so you don't really have to worry about true-to-life physics. This crystal sphere is filled with leaves. Is this sphere used in a ritual for a good harvest or something? Hey, didn't that wall painting have a sphere-like object in it? It's a good thing we had that little flashback. Otherwise I would have had to run to that room again. Right. There we go. Wow, someone had a lot of time on their hands to think all this up. So this was that sphere in the wall painting. Yes, of course, and accompanied by the sun. I get it the first time. I bet the sphere here is magic or something. There we go. Hey, is this a guardian sapling? It's all withered like the others. What the? Who turned out the lights? Oh, it's another constellation. Ami. Oh, that wasn't a period, that was a comma. It's another constellation, Ami. What the hell is that? It's like a knife. Looks like you needed a little more than just one star. Why don't you try drawing all the missing stars? Oh. Wait, I need one there and one there. There you go. Ah. I wasn't expecting that, but alright. Hello, monkey. Ah, Amaterasu, origin of all that is good and mother to us all. My gratitude for releasing my body from its slumber. Please accept my humble thanks in return for your great kindness. I am Sakigami, one of the triumvirate of flora gods, known as the Hanagami. My brethren and I have been entrusted with the brush techniques, known collectively as Green Sprout. I now grant my humble power to you. Use it wisely. That was Sakigami, one of the gods of flora. Apparently, the bloom brush technique can make flowers blossom simply by drawing a circle on a withered tree. Ah, that's what I was trying to do earlier. I guess I had lingering memories of that. Hey, maybe it'll make the withered guardian saplings blossom too. You know what? You might be right. Quit fooling around, silly. Just draw a circle on the withered guardian sapling. I was trying to encompass the whole thing, thank you. But maybe I'll try something smaller. Alright, never mind. Maybe it does need to be big. There you go, yeah. It needs to do the whole thing, not just the upper part. Ah, look at it go. And all that for so little. Wow, look at how everything grew back so quick. Sakuya wasn't kidding about the power of the guardian saplings. So, this is what Hana Valley's supposed to look like. Seems Sakuya's guardian sapling has lifted the evil curse. I'm not sure how weak the gods have become recently, but it must have taken some wickedly strong power to suppress this magnificent guardian sapling. Even if you are Shiranui reborn. We might be up against more than we bargained for. Hey, Yami. What about that withered guardian sapling outside? I bet you could revive it like you did this one. And by bringing that guardian sapling back to life, we might be able to lift the curse there too. What are we waiting for? Leap before you think, right? God, I remember there was one side quest thing I never did. I think, boy, it might have had to do with the sleeping bear. I think it had to do with the sleeping something or other, but you had to move, I believe it was a boulder, from a real low spot to like up a mountain. God, it was such a pain in the ass. I never did it because it was too hard for me to do it. I always thought I should return to that at some point, give it a try, but I never did. Something about trying to tackle it, like I said, there's a sort of like a magnetism that is apparent when you're pushing things around, but boy, if I was supposed to work with that one, I don't know. It was just kind of a pain in the ass. Anyway, I'm not even sure what quest gets you necessarily. Whoa, he's got a bazooka in there. But I definitely completed the game without it. Might have just been like a heart piece, for lack of a better term. Hey, there were pigs in there. That creepy old tree just won't give up. I've got an idea, Ami. Maybe you can hit its fruit right back at it, and while it's stunned, you can use bloom to rid it of evil. Fruit, please! The statue's all dirty, but that's proof it's been watching over us for ages. I rejuvenate. Bloom, maybe? Chinese cabbage. On the simple side, but tasty. Okay, you literally just have to cut their heads off. Whoa, Ami, hold on. Hana Valley looks so much better now, but what about this gloomy patch of grass? You can use the power of bloom to fill it in. Just fill it with your brush and bloom will take care of it. It's got like stink on it. Try and bloom. Oh, did that work that time? Green sprout tips. Okay. Using the green sprout technique, poke holes in the ground with dots. Ink becomes as a seed and tree sprout forth, confounding foes. Life force this vegetation emits is the bane of evil. There was a scroll here too, eh? I mean, this looks like the travel guide. It's an ancient record of a pilgrimage across the land. If this were the real thing, it'd normally be worth a fortune, but with all the copies out there, you probably wouldn't get much for it. At any rate, if you ever want to read it, just press the start button to open the fan menu. May sound rather preachy, but it should at least help you in your travels. Alright, tree, do your worst. What the? Oh, had to like dig it out, I guess. I don't like how it still looks at me when I'm moving around. It's a little weird. I'm gonna use up all my ink. Oh, whoops. Well, it regrew. I guess it's got that sacred whatchamacallit on there. Give me those fangs. Nice. I don't even know where that is. Oh. I wonder if I could get the camera just right, or I could get multiples of those inside a ring. Oh, look, real monkey. No, it doesn't work like that. Well, damn. Oh no, it works that time. You have to align them though. It like keeps disappearing on me. Not exactly what I want. There we go. Oh, hey, I did one in the background too. That's good. Painting outside the lines here. Oh. I was kind of wondering to myself, is there something that happens if I get all of them? Or is this just, you know, for a little bit of praise? Digging tips. Scroll drawn by a wandering artist contains useful information. Press Y to dig holes. This simple act has great depth. Spots that appear empty may emit light in the darkness. Dig the blind, find spots of great treasure. It's not the only advantage of digging holes. You may notice green glow in areas with lush vegetation. Dig there with Y to reveal a wilted clover. Use a celestial brush to rejuvenate these clovers. The newly restored clovers will net you much praise. I don't remember that. I wonder if I ever found any of those. Probably, you gotta assume. Let's see, red imps. These lute players are harder to exercise than green imps. One night, a man heard lute music and went out to find the source. Hiding in the shadows, he saw the imps stop playing and drink sake. Seeing his chance to attack, the man struck out, severing the lute strings with his blade. The imps disappeared in a wisp of smoke. It is advisable to cut the strings with the brush. Folklore has it that these imps never cease in their mischief. Burrowing beneath the ground, they sound their mighty drums. The drum vibrations shake the earth. Jump to avoid this attack. Legends tell us to lure them from the ground and strike from behind. Though riddled with disease, they are often portrayed whimsically. These stories are meant to make them seem less threatening. There you go. No way I missed that before, but I really don't remember these clovers. Okay, so bringing all those trees back, got a chest to appear, but unfortunately it's like way the hell back here. I guess whatever. Probably worth it. Are those wilted? I can't tell. They're black, but they got leaves. They're fine. Okay. I guess they just must be set with heavy ink. Okay, so. Contain a sun fragment. Oh yeah, that's your heart piece. Collect 3 of these bright fragments to extend solar energy by 1 unit. But of course it's sun related. And not heart life related. Yeah, I'll save in a bit. Go try to take care of this sapling out here. I think it might be for each map there might be like a certain amount of trees that you gotta use bloom on. Okay, that's the new brush technique in the bag. Now, Ami, before you get all excited and forget what you're supposed to do, I have an important tip for you. Ready? Okay then. If you ever forget what to do next, press start to open the fan menu, and then take a look at the logbook. You'll find your journal there. Yeah, I mean, what about the Guardian sapling? But you could revive it too. Okay, yeah. Your journal is a record of the important dialogue you've heard. It shows all the important info that you have in that furry little head. Just dig up info the way I showed you. And you'll be able to recall important things. Your adventure will be a lot easier if you can remember this. Also, remember, first things first. Okay, let's get going. Gotcha. Is it gonna annoy the hell out of me if I decide to go for something else? Let's just do the tree. Wow, that nasty curse zone is completely gone. The plants and animals are back. And just feel that fresh breeze. Now that's what I call great divine intervention. If you keep on dispelling the evil curse like this, I bet the gods of nature will lend you their powers. Doesn't look like she cares too much. Hey, that's Sequoia's tree, isn't it? Maybe she perked up because you revived the guardian sapling. Well, we can stop by and see her later. I mean, we're kinda on a roll here. How about we take a look around Shinto Field first? You've been gone 100 years, right? Good run around the place will do you good. You obtained Fleeing Battle. Scroll drawn by Wandering Artist contains useful information. Demon's grudges may take form as what is known as a demon scroll. Physically contacting these scrolls draws you into a demonic realm. You will doubtless find yourself under attack shortly thereafter. Battles can be desperate affairs. Often you may wish to avoid them. If you can find a crack at the demonic realm's border, you can attack it, breach the border, and make your escape. Oh yeah, I specifically remember thinking to myself I would always fight in any battles that I'd come across. I'm thinking these ultimate mirrors must be transportation devices. Okay, so I don't know if I classify that as a dungeon. Maybe it's supposed to be, I don't know, but we sort of did something that was dungeon-like. It's like the well when you first get in there. Not necessarily the second well run around, but, you know, first one. So it's a little shorter. But there's plenty of things to do. This is sort of like Hyrule Fields. It's the big one. Oh, hey, look at that. Those are pretty goddamn big markers. That's kind of funny. Anyway, as we press on through this game, I'm sure we'll see more parallels, if we haven't already, between this and Legend of Zelda series. It's a good game, and I'm looking forward to playing through it again. Probably not going to do or shoot for 100% completion unless there are points where I could do some stuff on my own time, which I might do, but I definitely don't want to do 100% of it on stream. That's just a little bit too long. But we'll continue on with this. This is going to be a thing where we're going to switch back and forth between Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age and Okami HD. So look forward to it, because this is sort of a longish game. It's about as long as any other Zelda game, which, you know, is longer than your average action-adventure piece. So it'll probably take a few streams, get us through a good, at least half a month, maybe longer than that. probably is going to be a bit longer than that, but I guess we'll see what that ends up being like. Anyway, it's been good. I'm going to stop here, though. We'll pick up next time, check out the Shushin field, and press on from there. I think I'll try to at least do maybe one dungeon, depending on how long it takes to get in between them each time around, but try to shoot for one per stream. That'll usually net us at about 2.5 to 3 hours. Either way, next time I stream, we're going to do some Final Fantasy XII, pick up back with that. We just did the very beginning, so most of the setup, but we haven't quite gotten into that open world sense just yet. So that'll be next time, though, which might be as soon as tomorrow. It took a couple days, got some things that needed doing, but either tomorrow or the day after, which will be Monday. Anyway, that's it for me, so thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always, and we'll see you around next time. So until then, take care.